Good morning, third graders. Welcome back. I'm so glad to see that you are all here. We are going to jump right into our guided reading lesson for the day. You do not need anything open on your computer. You just need your active listening ears ready to learn. Let's go ahead and begin. Today we are going to be learning about main idea and key details. Let's together read our I can statements. I can put important bits of information together to figure out the main idea of a text, and I can use accountable talk signals during a Zoom small group and large group discussion. Those are the I can statements that we will be focusing on today. In second grade, you learned about the topic of a text, so let's review topic. The topic of a text is the subject or big idea of the text. It is usually one or two words, and we can sometimes use the title or pictures to predict the topic of the text before we even read the text. Let's go ahead and practice. The title of this text is called School. I'm going to predict that the topic of this text may also be school. Let's go ahead and read and see if I'm right. School is so much fun. Each day you get to learn something brand new. You learn math and science. You also get to see your friends and teachers. At school, you can talk to your friends about what you did over the weekend. School is also fun because it gives me something to do. Sometimes in the summer, I get very bored. Now that I've read that, I'm going to think to myself, what is the big idea of this text? This author is just talking about school, so I think I was right with my topic. Let's see. The topic of this text is school, so the big idea of this text is school. Now, in third grade, we are going to take it a step further. Let's first read this and see if we can identify the topic of this text. The title of it is Working Dogs, so again, I'm going to predict that this title is going to be my big idea. It's going to be my topic. So, working dogs. Working dogs are animals that have a job. These animals are trained to help people. They protect people, keep people safe, and help people who need help. Some dogs work with police officers. They help them find criminals or weapons using their noses. Other dogs also help find lost people. They are called search and rescue dogs. They are trained to find missing people when there is a disaster like a flood, avalanche, or tornado. Other dogs help people who are blind and have impaired hearing. These are called service dogs. Now that I've read that through and I've looked at my pictures and my title, I'm going to say that the topic of my text is working dogs. It is the big idea of my text. When we are in third grade, we use this ice cream cone graphic organizer to help organize our thoughts. That cherry at the top here is going to be where the topic of our text goes. So I'm going to go ahead and put working dogs into the topic of our text. Working dogs. Okay? Now in third grade, we start to learn about key details. So key details are the most important ideas or examples of the text. Key details give us more information and details about our topic. So let's go ahead and look again at that text. Now we already know our topic is working dogs. What is this author telling us about working dogs? What examples is this author giving us? So I'm going to go ahead and read this and see if I can come up with some examples about working dogs that the author is giving me. So, rereading my work like a good reader. Working dogs. Working dogs are animals that have a job. These animals are trained to help people, they protect people, keep people safe, and help people who need help. Some dogs work with police officers. I'm thinking to myself, that is a great detail about working dogs that author gave me. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that in case that would be a key detail. So let's go ahead and highlight that. Continuing to read, they help them find criminals or weapons using their noses. Other dogs can help find lost people. Another great detail about working dogs, and I'm thinking to myself, this might be a pretty important piece of information that the author is giving me, so I'm going to highlight that as well. They are called search and rescue dogs. They are trained to find missing people when there is a disaster like a flood, avalanche, or tornado. Other dogs help people who are blind or have impaired hearing. Now again, I'm thinking, that sounds like a really, really important detail that the author gave me about working dogs, so again, I'm going to highlight that. These are called service dogs. Now that I have reread my text and I've highlighted some important key details that the author was telling me about my working dogs, I'm going to fill out the rest of my graphic organizer for what we have learned so far. So when we do key details in our ice cream cone graphic organizer, we are filling in the ice cream parts of our organizer. So those are going to be where our 3 key details are going to go. So looking back at what I highlighted on my text, I highlighted some dogs work with police officers. And when I reread that, I think to myself, I think that is a very important detail the author gave me about working dogs. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that into that first ice cream part of my ice cream cone. Now the second thing that I highlighted was that other dogs also help to find lost people. So thinking back again, I think that was a very important detail that the author gave me about working dogs. So again, copy and pasting that into my graphic organizer right into that second ice cream. And the final part of the text that I highlighted was that other dogs help people who are blind or have impaired hearing. And again, this is another great example that the author gave us about working dogs that give us some more details that are really important. So I'm going to, again, copy and paste that into that final piece of my ice cream cone of those ice creams. I now have my 3 key details into my graphic organizer that represent those ice creams. Let's move on. After we find the topic and the key details of the text and we put them into our ice cream cone organizer, we can use the key details to figure out the main idea of the text. So in 3rd grade, we learn about the main idea of the text, and the main idea is what that text is mostly about. It's normally one sentence, and it explains to somebody, what is the author trying to say about my topic? The main idea is going to be the ice cream cone that holds all of our pieces all together. Let's practice. So, I already have my topic of working dogs, and I have some 3 examples about working dogs that my author gave me. Now, what can I say in one sentence that the main idea or what this text is mostly about is? So based on my 3 details, all 3 details have something to do with how working dogs help people. They're really helpful animals. So I'm going to say, using my 3 details in my topic, the author is trying to tell me how helpful working dogs are. So I'm going to use that as my main idea on the ice cream cone part of my ice cream. Working dogs are very helpful animals.